Man, it's a sad day in boxing right now because from what I'm seeing, and the worst part is people don't even care. You got these dudes agreeing, even entertaining the Jake Paul fight. It's just, you know, it's sad, bro. I already knew it was real when before the fight, during the fight, I'm seeing a lot of rumors. I'm like, people like, yeah, Tank talking about Jake Paul. And the first thing that came to my mind was this dude was already reacting to Jake Paul when he fought Mike Tyson. But this is the point that I'm gonna get to immediately. For the fans, this is the reason why I talk the way I talk on my podcast. Because the fans right now are showing y'all exactly why I be going and talking the way I do. They be doing all that rah rah and they don't stand on anything when it comes to these boxers. They jump in the front of traffic for these dudes, but then when it's time to put up or shut up and the money getting thrown around, big money, not everybody got to explain. There's explanations going on and people ducking. People been hiding behind that for years. Oh, this guy ducking. Ain't nobody turning down millions of dollars. Dudes is going to Jake Paul. I told y'all they got more criticism. The boxing gods answer me. They answered everything I said. The boxing gods have answered everything I said. And I haven't been doing the podcast that long. The boxing gods have answered everything I said. When it comes to Tank Davis and Canelo Alvarez, they get a pass like they're the greatest fighters to ever live. They get more of a pass than Muhammad Ali. Think about that. They getting taken care of in boxing better than Muhammad Ali. More privilege in boxing than Muhammad Ali. Forget about that Floyd stuff people keep bringing up. Their resume ain't gonna never look like Floyd. Ever. Canelo would never fight a fighter like Canelo at 23 years old when he's 38. Never. That ship has sailed. I told everybody. People looking at me last year like, why are you talking about Jake Paul versus Canelo? Why am I talking about Jake Paul versus Canelo? Oh, you'll find out very soon why. And now people finding out now. And you know what's crazy? Nobody reacting to Canelo. If Canelo is the face of boxing, why is nobody reacting to him even being in the news with Jake Paul? How is Canelo the face of boxing? His name is in the news with Jake Paul about him agreeing to fight Jake Paul. And nobody cares. But you'll get people that come on here and be like, hey, Canelo the face of boxing. Everybody know who he is. He does the most numbers. He's a cash cow. Why doesn't anybody care that he was trying to fight Jake Paul? Like, don't tell me that you care about Canelo and he's the show me you care. The dude tried to fight Jake Paul. So right now, if the little Crawford, like everybody said, Crawford is a small guy and he ain't good enough. So the small fighter y'all saying ain't good enough. If he wasn't fighting Canelo right now, Canelo be fighting Jake Paul. And these dudes bending the knee for Canelo. They'll do it for haven't done it for any other fighter in history. But for Canelo, you gonna do it. They think Canelo better than Oscar De La Hoya. They think Canelo better than Pacquiao. They think, throw Tank in there too. They think Tank better than Pacquiao. They think Tank better than Floyd. Y'all didn't hear what Tank was saying before the fight with Roach? I'm better than Floyd. Then he gonna hop in the ring with Jake Paul. Bro, I don't want to hear anybody ever call me a fanboy, bro. If y'all a fan of Canelo and Tank, you're an automatic fanboy. And you ain't saying nothing about this, you can be a fan of them. But if you ain't saying nothing about this, but you'll sit around and accuse other people of being fans of this guy, or you're picking that guy because he's a black guy. And all that other stuff. Nah. Those days are over. Everybody getting exposed now. Turkey Al-Sheikh is exposing everybody. The Wool is getting exposed off everybody now. Especially with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson got criticized over Canelo and Tank, and he's an old man. So Canelo in his prime makes more sense to fight Jake Paul than an old Mike Tyson. Bro, these people destroying boxing, man. Destroying it. This is an example right here. You can't hide from it. You can't run from it. This is an example right here. If Terrence Crawford wasn't fighting Canelo Alvarez, these fans will be okay with him fighting Jake Paul like he was going to agree to. Think about that. It don't matter at that point when the rumors was flying around about Tank and Jake Paul. It don't matter at that point anyways. Because they already okay with Canelo fighting this guy. If it wasn't for Crawford stepping in, this dude wouldn't even be fighting he wouldn't be fighting Terrence Crawford. Sad, man. Very sad. Very sad. But you'll have people over here, oh, man, well, I support Canelo, because these people said, these same fighters who support Canelo, if Crawford was over there trying to fight Jake Paul or something, they'll have a problem with it. If anybody else was trying to fight Jake Paul, they would have a problem with it. But these fighters they just seen Canelo trying to fight Jake Paul. Then Tank doing the same thing. And what have I been saying for the past year? Tank and Canelo. Same kind of fights. Tank and Canelo, they get the same kind of fight. Look like they got the same matchmaker almost to a certain point. Not really, but these dudes fighting, they trying to fight Jake Paul. I'm talking about back to back. How that would have worked out. So what was gonna happen? One guy was gonna fight first, and then the other guy was gonna fight him the next time. That's crazy. This dude signed to fight Canelo, showed the paperwork, and the fans said nothing. And then, mind you this, Jake Paul already lost the fight. This man lost to Tommy Fury. So this right here exposes everything I'm saying right now. Everybody gonna sit around and give Tank and Canelo a pass because they fanboys. The same thing they gonna accuse everybody else of because they biased. Same thing they gonna accuse everybody else of because they clout chasing. Same thing they gonna accuse everybody else of because they want a payday. Same thing they want to accuse everybody else of. Payday, clout chasing, all that stuff. When you mention your name with Jake Paul and you have the energy for Mike Tyson, but you don't got the energy for these guys in their prime, oh nah. I can't take nobody serious saying that. I don't care who you is. I can't take you serious. Can't take you serious. You ain't finna keep it 100. So why bother? You ain't finna keep it 100, but you'll throw Mike Tyson under the bus. I don't know what that's about, but I kind of understand what it's about. So right now, most people are just watching boxing because of Tank and Canelo. That probably is a reason why the numbers are so low. People act like the numbers is high, but these numbers ain't really high like that. These numbers ain't high like that. Not to be crashing out with boxing the way it's going on. Nah. Nah. I don't want to see the top boxers, the faces of boxing, fight Jake Paul. And we got all this talent in boxing. And it's like, nah, makes no sense. We got all this talent in boxing, and we got both of the faces of boxing talking about agreeing to fight Jake Paul. Then one guy put a signature up. Jake Paul showed Canelo's signature on the contract, like, and people just looking past this. That's insane. But this confirms that, the real. When I was talking about this last year, people was looking at me crazy. Like, why are you taking Jake Paul serious? Bro, why are they taking Jake Paul serious? That's the thing that got me last year when Canelo said, "Oh, I would fight Jake Paul." I didn't know he was gonna say a couple of months later. But then Canelo too. Then Tank Davis. It's crazy, bro. Crazy. That's why I don't talk about the ducking and stuff like that. When you focus on Jake Paul, when you telling the whole boxing world, the whole world who don't watch boxing, that everybody, all the top fighters is ducking you, or these guys ain't good enough, but I'll jump in the ring with Jake Paul, you ain't finna have no truth come out of boxing for a long time. It's gonna take a long time to reset. The way it's so many lies based off boxing, and this is just one of a big example. You telling both of these guys or they fans to build both of these guys up. They've told a lot of people that certain guys ain't good enough. We got a number one pound for pound fighter finna get in the ring with Canelo, and most of the world is telling you he wasn't good enough, and that now he number one pound for pound guy, he ain't good enough. How we gonna build a sport up like that? Yeah, Northern Lights. Man, I had tried that what's that stuff called, that Han Solo? That stuff straight. Han Solo burger. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, bro, how you gonna tell the whole world? What's going on, Native Wild Man? Yeah, man, I'm trying to see it. Cause I used to like taking indicas during the day, then now I'm like taking them at night. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing all right. Doing excellent, man. What about you? What's going? Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. I've been moving around last couple of weeks, the last 2 weeks, but I've been sitting a lot more, just chilling. Yeah, that sounds good. I might do something like that. I actually might do that after I get off of here. It's not a bad idea. I was doing it the last couple of weeks, going on some long walks. The last walk I went on so far, I was like, hey, man. Yeah, because I ain't went on no walks in a minute, to be honest with you. It's been cold, so, I definitely wanted to enjoy the sun. Oh, you did? Oh, that's good, man. Yeah, so, man, they got news confirmed last night that Jake Paul came out and said that him and Tank Davis agreed. Well, they was basically trying to fight each other. They was supposed to fight each other or whatever. That's what Jake Paul said last night. which I already knew, but you know, you got to get confirmation on a lot of this stuff. But man, Jake Paul, man, yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, he just got home at a good time too. Yeah, man, not a bad weight to be at. This is horrible right here, boy. Dang, this is horrible. I'm glad Jake Paul be spilling the beans all the time. He definitely spilled the beans then. Yeah, they definitely gonna hate that he said that.
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations
Dang,
and
let me get
almost
my
ready to make
headphones.
happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Javante were scheduled to fight for sure. We do have an announcement next week, but I'm just not gonna leak anything. And like we've had these fights pulled twice now at the 1 yard line, Canelo, Javante. I'm just not gonna jinx it and say anything. Yeah, no, that we're gonna plan that for 2026. You know, he called me up and was like, "I saw you call me out," and he's like, "Let's run it. Let's make it happen."
Yeah, that's good, man. Just got off work. It's good, man. You out here getting it done early. Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying, man. Everybody act like Jake Paul was they act like Jake Paul when I didn't KO Mike or something. First of all, Jake Paul couldn't knock out Mike Tyson. I don't know why. For some reason, he's not looked at as embarrassing. You know, everybody looking at Mike like, oh, he embarrassed himself. How he embarrassed himself when Tank and Canelo was trying to fight Jake Paul right after him. And these guys are trying to fight now. And Jake Paul lost before. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of boxers is not trying to fight the guy that Jake Paul lost to. They trying to fight Jake Paul. So that's clout chasing. Regardless how anybody wants to look at it, whether it's the money or anything else, these are guys who's the biggest in boxing right now currently. You know, these are the faces of boxing. So if the sport of boxing is at the level right now to where the biggest guys in our sport would waste their time fighting Jake Paul, it's not a good look. I think this is gonna explain a lot of why you know, the way I talk on this channel, sometimes people don't understand it, but people gonna have to you know, they're gonna have to basically tell the truth. It's not a lot of truth being told in boxing right now, so until that happens, boxing is gonna be in a limited space. But it's getting back to that though. It's gonna get back to it. But Canelo and Tank, they're not gonna be able to hang around like that. And people disrespecting Mike like, oh man, why did Mike fight Jake Paul? I didn't like that he fought Jake Paul. That wasn't a but I watched it like everybody else did. For a lot of people who didn't like the idea of him fighting Jake Paul, it sure was a lot of people that watched. And the crazy thing about it is, Mike Tyson had just fought Roy Jones recently. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of people that Roy Jones had just fought Mike Tyson recently. So when I seen the criticism of Mike and Jake Paul, I'm like, I guess people was like Mike wasting his time with Jake Paul, which I felt like that too. But then when Tank and Canelo does it and nobody says something, whoa, that's a red flag, bro. This is why people don't like me because I'm gonna call stuff like that out. I'm being real with y'all. I've been following both of these guys since day one. I'm not finna sit up here and lie about no fighter doing something like this. And I'm just, to be honest with you, I'm a big fan of Deontay Wilder. When they brought up the fact that him fighting Ngannou the first time, I said, nah, I don't like that. I said, nah, I don't like that, champ. But then you got everybody else going out there after that fighting Ngannou, and all the fans is co-signing it. Man, nah. So right now, and the fans, they want guys like Deontay Wilder, Dave Benavidez, Devin Haney to fight the best fighters every fight, back to back to back to back, because subconsciously they think that these guys are the best. And guys like Canelo, Tank, they can do whatever they want. They can fight a Jake Paul, no backlash. Mike Tyson's crap because he's fought Jake Paul, but guys who are currently boxing right now, supposed to be fighting the best, telling the whole world that, these guys ain't really that good. And the other guys around Tank Davis' weight class and Canelo's weight class, they don't want to fight nobody. And they ain't good enough. I don't know if people know it or not, but Canelo not praising Benavidez is not helping him. Him saying the things he said about Dave Benavidez, that don't help Dave Benavidez. People act like he did Dave Benavidez a favor or something. It's not a favor. Exactly, Native Wild Man. These people out here, they know what time it is. They out here right now. Native Wild Man. I seen what websites and boxing articles coming out recently talking about, oh man, Wilder's fighting a guy with nine losses. He fighting a guy with 11 losses, 14 losses. Now Gabe Rosado walking around with almost 20 losses. They talking about he a warrior. But they want guys like Wilder to fight a guy who got 1 loss, 0 losses. But then these other guys can fight MMA guys. I'm telling you, it's just they openly being biased in boxing right now. This is why Dana White, the league he's gonna set up, it's gonna wipe all that out. Even the boxers are tired of it. And a lot of people are saying right now, well, he's not paying that much. He's probably not gonna be able to pay your favorite fighter. But the fighters that your favorite fighter wants to fight, those guys are gonna be able to get paid. So guess what? Your favorite fighter gonna have to make a decision. What's going on? What's up, Aaron? What's up, dog? What's going on? Yeah, I'm gonna let people think about that one right there. Shout out to Aaron Griffin. What's going on, bro? Yeah, Dana White might not be able to pay your favorite fighter, but the guys who your favorite fighter need to fight, he gonna pay them guys. He gonna be able to pay them. Cause this right here is ridiculous. And I told people this where boxing goes. I warned everybody for years. Well, however long I've been on here. I warned everybody. I dropped the Canelo news with Jake Paul. I knew that was coming. Everybody like that fight wasn't gonna happen. That wasn't real. Real contract and everything. People didn't care about it. Bro, y'all gotta think about it. The boxing world didn't care that Canelo signed the contract with Jake Paul, and they came out and showed us. It's almost like the boxing world is trying to force us to get interested in boxing, and everybody else is ignoring the faces of boxing. These guys are the face of boxing. And you have Jake Paul out here right now showing contracts with Canelo's signature on there. He came out yesterday, said that Tank was supposed to fight him. And people could say, man, he's lying about that, man. That's not true. Bro, he just showed Canelo's manager and trainer just said that he was gonna fight Jake Paul next. And the people who don't like Terrence Crawford and everything, if Terrence Crawford wasn't fighting Jake Paul right now, Canelo be fighting Jake Paul right now. So technically, all the fans in boxing are okay with a guy like Canelo fighting Jake Paul right now instead of Terrence Crawford. Because it's still people complaining about this fight. Oh, he's just going to get knocked down anyways. Oh, he'll just get knocked down anyways. Not complaining about Jake Paul versus Canelo, which was already signed technically before the Crawford and Canelo fight. But they gonna say, oh, he'll just get knocked down anyway. So they put more respect on Jake Paul than they do professional boxers. Mike Tyson went out there chasing the bag just like Canelo and Tank doing right now. And because he an old man, people disrespecting him. They don't know what Mike Tyson and what did happen to him behind the scenes or how he done been done wrong in boxing. Maybe he want his get back or whatever. People complain about how Don King's such a bad promoter. If you complaining about Don King being a bad promoter, and that was Mike Tyson's promoters, why you feel like he can't go and get his payday just like Canelo and Tank doing? What, y'all think Canelo and Tank did more than Mike Tyson did in his career? Or you think they did more than what, Floyd? This is the problem with boxing right now. And everybody else is tired of it, bro. Everybody ain't getting paid like Canelo. There's thousands of boxers who ain't getting paid the way they want to. Everybody ain't with certain promotional companies. Everybody ain't fighting twice a year on certain dates. You know what I'm saying? People ain't arguing with UFC over certain dates and weekends. And that's my date and all that other stuff. You got dudes they done made way too many concessions for certain guys. They done moved the sport of boxing for Tank and Canelo like nobody else. People try to bring up Floyd and everything else. If Floyd would have never fought Canelo, we wouldn't even know who he is. So how about that? So if you mad about Floyd's career, then guess what? If he wouldn't have fought Canelo, we wouldn't even be thinking about Canelo on the level that people talk about him. And he lost almost every round. That's how fanned out some of these dudes is. They seen this man lose almost every round. He's probably the only fighter in boxing where you seen him lose almost every round and people trying to argue about why he the best. And a resume. You ain't never had to go through that in boxing until this dude showed up. And there ain't no disrespect. I'm just keeping it real. I think Canelo a great fighter, and he jumped weight class. I gave him credit last night for jumping weight classes. Unlike Triple G, I gave the man credit. I keep it 1,000. Ain't nobody else gonna keep it 100 like that. I gave him credit for jumping weight classes. If you look at during that era, wasn't many people jumping weight classes like that. Canelo started doing it. Now everybody's trying to do it. So I'm giving him credit for what he made cool in boxing, but the other stuff you made cool, where you fighting guys we never heard of, then you talking about you need to get paid like it's a mega fight. Bro, every time, just because you fighting every fight is not a mega fight. People have to realize this. Every time Roy Jones fought, it wasn't a mega fight, but that was still Roy Jones. Every time Floyd fought, it wasn't a mega fight, but that was still Floyd. Every time Oscar fought, it wasn't a mega fight, but that's still Oscar. Manny Pacquiao, the same thing. Now we coming to this era and people like, well, you gotta bend the knee for Canelo to do this and Canelo to do that. Hold on, you talking about a guy he fighting people I ain't never asked him to fight? I'm supposed to do favors for him and support that? Then he fighting Jake Paul? Then the fans who's fans of him don't even care? And I told people recently that they try to make it seem like these guys are just known across the world like this. If he was really known across the world like that, people would still be talking about Canelo versus Jake Paul right now. Let's just keep it one. I'm just keeping it real. I'm just keeping it real. They mentioned Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Everybody was talking about it. I see in channels that talk about church, all kind of stuff that was reporting the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight. Everybody know that. You seen all kind of gaming channels talking about Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul, and Jake Paul fought last year. So it wasn't because of Jake Paul everybody was watching the fight. I seen Jake Paul fight last year, and nobody cared who he fought last year. Most people don't even know who he fought last year. Think about that. So I know what the formula is. He needed Mike Tyson. But for Canelo and Tank, for those guys, people to say that Tank is better than Floyd and Canelo's a big name, he's a cash cow, why nobody talking about him and a Jake Paul fight being agreed to? And Jake Paul showed you a contract with a signature on it. Tell me, how many times have you seen a high-profile boxer on the level of Canelo where he had a contract for a fight signed already, and another boxer came out and showed you the contract online, and nobody talks about it? But people try to compare this guy to Floyd, though. Come on, man. Let's be real. Let's be honest. Only thing I've seen lately is the boxing guys answered everything I said. I said, man, just please give me one more Mike Tyson fight so I can show these guys. And then not only did they do that, they gave me another fight with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Then they had Jake Paul agree to a fight with Canelo and Tank in the same year. Matter of fact, I'll give you a better one. In 3 months, 2 months, this man was able to get Canelo and Tank to agree to a fight in 2 months. Jake Paul, he was able to get Canelo and Tank to agree to a fight in 2 months, 60 days. And we talking about Mike Tyson thirsty for a payday? Stop it. Stop it. Anybody saying that bias? I heard somebody saying that today. I better be seeing some Tank Davis and Canelo slander. I better see it. If I don't, I told y'all these dudes don't like Mike Tyson like that. Perfect example. I'm glad this happened, because now we get to see that these people will throw Mike Tyson under the bus for doing the same thing that Tank Davis and Canelo doing in their prime, which is worse. Canelo and Tank got way more options than an old Mike Tyson. These are professional boxers, the face of boxing. And they getting paid with an unlimited checkbook, a blank check. They writing whatever they getting paid, they writing the check. And you choose to fight Jake Paul? All this talent in boxing? You telling us everybody else ain't on your level, they ain't good enough? So half of the fans like, why would we even go pay to see a Terrence Crawford? Y'all been saying he ain't that good. I done heard all these boxers saying Terrence Crawford ain't that good. Why would I go pay to see him? So then when the fight don't do 1 million pay-per-views, people saying, oh, why he ain't do 1 million pay-per-views? Because every boxing channel been saying that he's trash. Why would a person that don't watch boxing every day, they don't know who he is, why would they go spend their money on that when they trying to trust in this person to tell them that is the guy good? Is he legit or not? Still got people out here saying he's trash. Number 1 boxer in the world, trash. Why would anybody want to watch boxing? I'm being real. If I had to convince somebody right now that don't watch boxing, they'd be like, hey, man, I want to watch boxing, man. I want to get into boxing. I'm like, all right, cool. They'd be like, oh, who's the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter? Oh, Terrence Crawford. If they go online and type up Terrence Crawford, they're going to see a whole bunch of negative stuff. And they're going to be like, that's the best guy y'all got? Everybody say he ain't that good though. Man, people tired of talking about this sport in a way like that, bro. It's over with. If the Dana White way don't work, this way ain't gonna work. It's over. Jake Paul has more power than Tank Davis and Canelo. That's it. And Mike Tyson proved that he a bigger name than all these guys. Because when Jake Paul fight with Tank and Canelo is being talked about, nobody's talking about it. When the Mike Tyson news came out with Jake Paul, everybody was talking about it. They proving my point, man. I ain't gotta say nothing after this. This is it. Even when Usain Bolt used to put his hands up before he crossed the finish line, that's what I'm doing right now. I ain't gotta say nothing else, bro. Sometimes it takes people 10 years to kind of report news like this. I told people that Canelo was gonna fight Jake Paul. And this is all why they whining about the Mike Tyson thing. I seen people talk, oh, Mike Tyson, why he fighting Jake Paul? He want a payday so bad. Why is Canelo fighting Jake Paul? Canelo has zero reason to fight Jake Paul right now. Zero. The man don't even got a box no more. Canelo already fighting 154s and 68. What else does he want people to do in boxing for him? And then people will say, well, Crawford, he's a small guy. And bro, if Crawford was not fighting this man would be fighting Jake Paul. And people going to look past that. How are we going to build the sport of boxing like this when you preparing the best fighters for Jake Paul? You done built up Tank Davis the past 10 years so you can make a fight with Jake Paul? Why would I watch any other boxer if this is what the boxing world is telling you? This is what the media is telling you. Oh, yeah, they all above. All the above. All the above. All the above. I seen the comment section a couple of days ago, people talking about when Virgil Ortiz, he better than Crawford and stuff like that. First of all, I think Virgil Ortiz is a very good fighter. He a dog. Can Virgil Ortiz be a face of boxing one day? Absolutely. Because he fights anybody. I respect anybody who do that. I respect that. If anybody know me, I respect that. But bruh, I just seen you get dropped twice recently. And this man gonna sit up here talking about some, oh, that's an easy win for Canelo. Bro, Boacek said you was easy. The dude who just dropped Virgil Ortiz recently said that Virgil Ortiz was easy and that he got no power, that he didn't even feel his power. Then the dude didn't even have a scratch after he fought you. Your nose was all bruised up and everything. And I like, bro, I'm just keeping it 1,000. And these dudes out here talking about, yeah, that's an easy win for Canelo. Canelo ain't never had an easy win when he fighting tough competition. Charlo wasn't an easy win for Canelo. Berlanga wasn't an easy win. The man still got walked down by Berlanga in the 12th round. Munguia wasn't an easy fight, and Munguia just got knocked out. So y'all telling me Terrence Crawford get in the ring with the guy Munguia just fought, he ain't gonna have a chance? Come on, man. Let's stop it. These dudes been getting away with fighting guys at the right time. The matchmaking has been spectacular. It has gone wrong in certain situations, but as you seen with the Munguia situation recently. But they acting like guys can get, it's crazy, man. You can just jump in the ring with anybody and you'll win the fight. First of all, everybody that Terrence Crawford is fighting lately, most of these guys are going to the Hall of Fame. People are arguing about Earl Spence going to the Hall of Fame. Okay, that's a Hall of Famer that Terrence Crawford fought. Is Kell Brook a Hall of Famer? Kell Brook got to be a Hall of Famer. Triple G went down 2 weight classes to 147 to fight this guy. If he's not a Hall of Famer, that's gonna be a red flag for Triple G. So Kell Brook better be a Hall of Famer. Amir Khan beat Maidana. Then Canelo went down to 47 to fight this guy before he fought Triple G. Canelo could have fought any person in boxing. He fought Amir Khan at 47 and went down to fight him. Even though he was at 54, you went down because you had to bring him up. So what are we talking about? That's another guy on Terrence Crawford's resume. Nobody can knock out Jose Benavidez Jr. because he's not a pushover. He's not an easy fight. They found that out plenty of times. Charlo found that out recently. And then everybody trying to make it seem like people don't like Tank Davis. If y'all notice now, Tank Davis will never get the hate that Terrence Crawford gets. He will never get the hate that Devin Haney gets. That's a gift and a curse, because that means that a lot of people don't like him like that. They don't really look at him as a threat. It's fans who's not fans of Tank, but they don't hate him, but they don't look at him as a threat. I think Devin Haney gets more of a backlash because they think he's more of a threat than Tank is. I'm just being real. If that was the case, then other fighters would be getting more attention. You can't say you don't like Haney, but you're a fan of Zepeda, but you giving Haney more attention than you give Zepeda. Nah, you're a fan of him. That's all it is. Especially at this point. Y'all see this? These guys are giving Mike Tyson more backlash for doing what guys who's currently boxing are doing. This is the worst era of boxing in history. Confirmed. It's the worst era. If these people don't crown people like Crawford and Usyk at the end of this year, even if Crawford go out there and go 12 rounds with Canelo and lose a fight, if they don't crown guys and give Crawford his credit for going out to challenging himself, it's going to be the worst era of boxing in history. Facts. They're gonna tell you in history, the best guys who fought in boxing was the guys who fought Jake Paul. Canelo agrees to a Jake Paul fight. Tank talking about a Jake Paul fight. They trying to fight each other. So the best fighters of this era fought Jake Paul. They finna stamp Jake Paul. Now, old Mike Tyson doesn't stamp you because we just seen you lose to Tommy Fury. But once you fight Canelo and Tank, that's going to definitely confirm you. And people are complaining about Mike Tyson still fighting Jake Paul. They like, why Mike fight Jake Paul? He 50-something years old. Mike Tyson ain't got no options like a Tank Davis. And I'll repeat this again. Everybody I see talks about Don King was a terrible promoter. Okay, if you think that Don King was a terrible promoter, and Mike Tyson had Don King as a promoter, and you think that guys who done it all in boxing should go back and get a payday, why would Mike Tyson not be able to get a payday? So if Mike Tyson can't get a payday, none of these guys can get a payday. So from this day forward, anybody talking about a fighter, oh, he deserves a payday and everything, I don't care. You don't care. You ain't care about Mike Tyson trying to get a payday after getting robbed possibly. Mike Tyson felt like he got robbed in the boxing game. So he want to get a payday. In a sport that he helped build, Jake Paul getting paid all over the place. This is a sport that he helped build. Man got out of jail and still had to help build a sport. Whether he was the best or not, they still use his name. So let's be real. Now all of a sudden, Jake Paul got more pull in boxing than Mike Tyson? He got more respect in the game of boxing than Mike Tyson? Why would I talk about this sport like it's some kind of prestigious sport or something like that? It's dust. They got dudes fighting girls in the sport, trying to give it a certain kind of name, getting girls beat up, finna get people sued in a minute. People looking the other way. You can't take these people serious. Ain't nobody serious about boxing. You seeing girls getting beat up by dudes, then they put some kind of special name on it, and then you looking the other way. Can't respect you as a boxing fan. Then you got guys fighting Jake Paul, but you'll criticize Mike, an old Mike, who ain't got no options. Maybe Mike need the money. Maybe he got some kind of health condition where he need the money. And the boxing game is so crooked that he can't make money commentating, making $100 million calling fights like Tom Brady. Like how he used to call games on Fox or something like that. You know, he ain't in that kind of position. They might see Mike smoking a couple of joints on Hotbox podcast, and they think that I guess that podcast paying like a Jake Paul fight or something like that. We just seen dudes go out there and get $50 million to fight an MMA fighter, and you question their legends who possibly got robbed 30 years ago in boxing. Oh, wow, he chasing a payday. Then your favorite fighter, oh, well, he could chase a payday. He could chase a payday. Canelo, he deserves a payday. He can do whatever he want. Told y'all, man, they don't care about Mike Tyson. They don't care about Mike Tyson. They do not care about Mike Tyson. They look at Mike Tyson like one of them old pets they had that died a long time ago. They like, oh, yeah, I had love for him, but you know. Yeah, they ain't got no respect for Mike Tyson. This confirms it right here. So when people don't respect what I say in boxing, I don't be caring. Y'all don't respect Mike Tyson. Why do you think I'm gonna get you to respect me somehow? What? Y'all respect Tank Davis on his resume. Everything other guys have done in boxing. You respect Tank Davis' resume and Canelo resume to the point where you looking past everything they doing and letting them fight Jake Paul, and you ain't gonna criticize it at all, and you gonna pay your money, and you gonna call somebody a hater, and you gonna go talk about the other fighters and say they fighting bums, and you gonna say other fighters is fighting bums, and you gonna say Wise Wilder fighting a guy with 9 losses. He fighting a professional fighter, but you okay with guys like Canelo trying to fight Jake Paul. But then when somebody bring up other reasons, trying to find out why y'all don't like certain fighters, because at this point right now, it's not making sense. It's not a logical answer you can give me. Once you throw Mike Tyson under the bus so you can try to protect Jake Paul, because to be honest with you, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul didn't make the fight a professional fight. Somebody, the sanctioning bodies and all that did that, trying to get a bag. So the sanctioning bodies go out there and make the fight a professional fight, and somehow that's Mike Tyson's fault because everybody else greedy. As soon as Mike like, man, let me go ahead and get one last payday, you know what I'm saying? Now everybody like, yeah, Mike, let's make this a professional fight and let's bring some sponsors in. But Tank and Canelo do the same thing. They supposed to be the faces of boxing though. I told y'all that stuff, that face of boxing stuff. The only people I've heard that about is people that need to be built up. People that need to be built up. You ain't never heard nobody call Michael Jordan the face of the NBA. You know who Michael Jordan is. Stop playing. Ain't nobody ever said Michael Jordan the face of the NBA. Ain't nobody said Deion Sanders is the face of the NFL. Stop it. I know when you try to build somebody up. Boxing is a science still, but everybody ain't no scientist. I know when you trying to build somebody up. Ain't nobody ever said nobody's the face of no boxing. And they ain't called Pacquiao the face of boxing. They didn't call Oscar De La Hoya the face of boxing. They didn't call Muhammad Ali the face of boxing. They didn't call Floyd the face of boxing. I've been watching boxing way too long. I ain't never heard that before. I'm like, the face of boxing. Come on, man. Stop it. It's like you going everywhere you go, you like, this my girlfriend, this my girlfriend, this my girlfriend. Bro, we know that's your girlfriend. She was with you yesterday, the day before that, the day before that. We know that. You ain't got to keep telling me that's your girlfriend. We know that already. Now in boxing, this the face of boxing. This the face of boxing. This the face of boxing. I'm like, what? They said Usyk is the best current boxer in my opinion. Oh yeah. That definitely is a good makes sense. I have no problem with Usyk at all. Definitely have no problem with Usyk. I have no problem with any boxer you think that's the best. Native Wild Man. If anybody knows me. I have no problem with who somebody thinks is the best. It's the things when they start in boxing. I'm gonna just give an example. Whatever's been going on in boxing, it has destroyed boxing. So whatever way that people have likes talking about boxing, when people, because sometimes the way I talk about boxing, people get offended. But whatever way they like talking about boxing on the other side, they have helped destroy boxing. And people don't know what's going on in boxing. Not only have these people helped destroy boxers and their reputation and tell people that people like Crawford and all these other guys are trash, but then also they hurt build the sport up. Now when the Olympics come around, nobody watched the Olympics. Nobody watched the Olympics when it came around. The Olympics was just last summer, recently, a couple of months ago. Nobody cared about the Olympics when it was around. Nobody. Only thing they got it interested in, is everybody was saying that it was transgenders possibly fighting in the ring, and that was about it. And that shows you what kind of fans we got in the sport. But they know that guys get robbed in the Olympics. So that's a good way they build a sport up. But they brought that Olympic mentality to pro boxing now. Oh, this guy's with that promotional company. So imagine Ali had to lose a fight back in the day because a certain guy was signed with a promotional company and, he's not signed with this person. So we can't give him the win. We got to give him a draw. Even when people say the country was divided and segregation was going on, even back then you ain't have stuff like this going on. Like, bro, come on, man. It's worse than that era? Really? It's that bad right now? And it is. It's that bad. It's that bad. It's openly biased. And right now, they feel like, okay, if we can get a group of fans who are biased and they just latch on to one fighter, we're okay with that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not even about making money. They can build up multiple fighters and, have people interested in these fighters, but they don't want to do that. They want to get a couple of guys, latch on to them. They want to have the Mayweather effect. A lot of people feel like that Mayweather wanted to have the boxing schedule and fight twice a year like that. Yeah, to a degree, but not really. A lot of these fighters wanted him. A lot of these people wanted him to fight twice a year like that because they wanted him to bring in the money. He was bringing in the money. He was bringing in the money. It's a reason why they tried to have an MMA fighter fight a boxer again. They thought that the Ngannou and Fury fight would have like a Mayweather McGregor type of impact, but no, it's not. It's not really. Guys built a big reputation, and those are two big personalities that actually know how to fight, and they show up and give their all and stuff like that. Even when Conor McGregor was in the ring boxing, he still was trying as hard as some of these boxers do box now. And y'all know I'm not exaggerating by saying that. He was trying harder than some of these boxers now. So let's not forget, the money can also hurt things too. It can make things less competitive. If you got the top guys fighting and they know that they're going to get a decision, or they're the top guy, they can do whatever they want. It's not going to help the sport. But hold on, let me see what Aaron has said. I was reading it, but then I had kept going off. Did you hear about the contract Jake Paul gave Mike? I hear that if Mike knocked him out of the first round, Mike wouldn't get the bag. I don't know the facts about that. I'm not too sure. I wouldn't put it past that because, people might call that a conspiracy, but I don't think that's a conspiracy. To be honest with you, Aaron, I'm kind of leaning towards something like that with Tank. I'm kind of leaning towards that with Tank and Jake Paul fighting, honestly. Because if Tank's getting in the ring with Jake Paul, it's three things I'm thinking about. What is Tank going to weigh when he get in the ring? Another thing is, I know he can knock Jake Paul out if he catch him clean. So, is it going to be like some WWE stuff where he going to carry him the whole time? Or what is it going to be? because Jake Paul getting knocked out by Tank, that's not going to help his career. So for him to kind of risk that, people will say, well, it's a big fight if that happens. Yeah, but are we still going to want to watch this guy after something like that? What would be the reason? So that'll happen again just to see him get knocked out by a whole bunch of people? We want to see a good fight at the end of the day. But yeah, that sounds about right though. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, from what I seen on air, and as far as Tank fighting Jake Paul, I feel like Tank want to fight Jake Paul just because of the Mike Tyson stuff. That might sound like a stretch, but I'm being real. Because he said the same thing I said after the fight. If you go back and look at the fight, I only seen the fight once. Jake Paul was literally trying to stay far away from Mike. He knows Mike is an old man. His reaction time is slow. He's an old man now, so he's not flexible. He can't really. Jake Paul was trying to stay out of arm's reach and throw a quick right hand and load up on it. Boom. And try to see if he could knock Mike out and then get out the way. This was when Mike was tired. Like when Mike was ready to box the first couple of rounds and he had a gas tank, Jake Paul was moving around and doing splits like he was Johnny Cage on Mortal Kombat. Everybody looked past that. So the fact that everybody looks past that, ever since then, I'm just like, I'm just keep my mouth closed. Because they're automatically, I don't know, man. I guess people thought he was going to automatically get a knockout. They were just openly biased on that one. I'm like, man, y'all didn't see Jake Paul running the first 2 rounds? But they'll say a professional boxer is running if he do that in the first 2 rounds. And the UFC, you do that in the first round, they're going to boo you. So it's not just boxing. But Jake Paul do it, ain't nobody booing, ain't nobody see it. You got 80 million people watching it. Ain't nobody see this man running the first round. Think about that. You just ain't want to see it. You didn't want to see him, you was putting all the pressure on Mike. They put all the pressure on Mike. It always got to be the pressure on us, man. We are already putting tough fights together. Now people want us we got to entertain and everything else. We got to show up. Mike Tyson that came out of retirement to make the fight happen that everybody wanted to see. Because everybody stayed at home that night to watch the fight. The fight that everybody wanted to see. Because when it got announced, I seen a whole bunch of likes and people was posting it. I'm like, I told people that Mike Tyson was gonna fight again. And I told people that Canelo and Tank can't move no units like no Mike Tyson. Never, it would never happen. Because one thing Mike Tyson does is he's gonna fight the best. Or somebody at least. People might not feel like he fought the best throughout his whole career, but he fought Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. Look, none of these guys in 2025 is gonna fight no Lennox Lewis or no Holyfield, especially after they got out of jail. Tank just got out of jail. He fought Frank Martin and Lamont Roach. So ain't nobody getting out of jail and fighting no Evander Holyfield, no Lennox Lewis. Aaron says splits. Yeah, he was, man. If you go back and look at that fight, I'm like, bro, Jake Paul getting a pass. The way Jake Paul getting a pass. Oh, you was out there fishing? Yeah, McGregor did a good job boxing though. He did decent. Conor McGregor did decent. I know Floyd kind of carried him a little bit. Floyd was super out of shape too. So Floyd knew he couldn't get a knockout early. But yeah, he definitely he did a good job at boxing. Because everybody complained about Logan Paul fight. I think that was a Logan Paul fight they complained about with Floyd. I'm like, hey man, Logan Paul gotta show up. He doing all this yapping online to myself. Mike, I'll knock you out. Man, please. You the reason why don't nobody want to see Floyd fight no more. Be quiet, boy. I can't believe y'all let Logan Paul say that to Mike Tyson. Y'all heard everybody say, oh, you see what Logan Paul said? I'm like, man, y'all let Mike Tyson get disrespected about Logan Paul? Come on, man. Man, they act like Mike Tyson got knocked out. Now, mind you, Mike Tyson's an old man. He just went the distance with Jake Paul, who didn't even want to fight a straight-up fight. And he's getting backlash. So I want to see what the Tank Davis and Canelo backlash is going to be. I definitely want to see. And this is, and as y'all notice, I don't troll Tank Davis. I'm not a troll. I report real boxing news. I know this might look like trolling to y'all because a lot of these guys be lying about who they gonna fight and who ducking. But Tank Davis just told the whole world that guys like Devin Haney, Shakur, they're not good enough. They ducking. Who have they fought? But Jake Paul, yeah, he good enough. Canelo told you who Demetrius Andrade is. He trash. But Jake Paul, oh yeah, I'll fight him. What they say when Jake Paul name come up? Good fighter. These dudes finna fight Jake Paul. That's why I told everybody, man, hold your horses on the Mike Tyson backlash. Everybody that was talking about Mike Tyson, talking trash. I bet everybody ain't gonna say nothing about Tank Davis. That's how I know these dudes is fanboys. No disrespect. I ain't going at you. I'm just saying. Because I know a lot of people don't like me because I said this. Because I say stuff like this. Like Canelo, the type of guy that'll fight Jake Paul. Oh, man, you a hater. Then Canelo agrees to fight Jake Paul. Ain't nobody say, hey, man, you was right, bro. Man, I still don't like him. I still don't like that he said that about Canelo. Man, Canelo's wife wouldn't even get mad if I said something like that. These dudes be getting more mad than Canelo's wife. Y'all think I'm exaggerating? These dudes got so mad at Bivol. They went to his wife's Instagram or whatever and ruined the man's marriage over a Canelo fight. Over Canelo. So when the word fanboy is used, we have a fan base that actually ruined somebody's marriage because they went out there and beat Canelo. Think about that. So when people say extreme fans in boxing, that's what we're talking about. We're not just throwing insults out there because a lot of people say, oh, guys is calling people weirdos and they're insulting fans. We have a fan base that caused a guy to get a divorce. And he's one of the best boxers in the game. Dimitri Bivol, he has a divorce right now. After he fought Bitterbiv and lost the first time, his wife was trolling him online. But I seen how everybody was respectful, though. I noticed that. You would think that because he's the guy who beat Canelo that people would troll him, but that's another example in history that, Americans get a lot more backlash. Even guys who haven't beat a Canelo. So he got a lot of sympathy as time went on, but these other guys, yeah, that's why it's different, man. It's different. Trying to be the best, when you try to be the best in America, you get insulted. We have guys in America that get insulted for trying to be the best. Think about that. Deontay Wilder's getting insulted for trying to make a comeback and trying to have that comeback story and be that warrior that is wanted in boxing. Tyson Fury is celebrated for getting beat like a kid and retiring after losing to a cruiserweight twice. And they praising this. These dudes have no ethics in boxing. They respect cowards in boxing now. You got a dude who lost twice and said, oh, I retired. The dude retired in the pickup. This dude retired in a front, what's that car called? A Nissan what? Front runner or something like that? Man, he retired in one of those kind of F-150. This dude retired in a truck, man. That should be a meme. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. That is the biggest meme I ever seen in my life that has not been made. Tyson Fury retired in a pickup truck after getting whooped by a cruiserweight. Like, what's going on out here? Are we serious? Dude said, yeah, man, I'm retiring. And, I'm retiring. It's over for me. I'm like, whoa. We need to call the hotline. This dude is in a pickup truck after a Hall of Fame career, retiring in the front seat. He looked like he was in the passenger seat. So he done told somebody else, hop out real quick. I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna retire. Not doing this Joshua stuff. Couldn't even put out a statement. This dude got 3 promoters. He got Bob Arum, he got Frank Warren, working with Turkey Al-Sheikh. He said, I'm gonna retire in the front seat of a pickup truck. And that's it. And people got the nerve to be like, yeah, Wilder, what has he done in boxing? He gave you the last couple of good fights you was ever gonna see from Tyson Fury. The only good fights you seen from Tyson Fury was the ones when he stepped in the ring with Wilder. Other than that, he was getting his head knocked around like a bowling ball in the gutter. Dude's head was bouncing like a bowling ball when it hit the gutter. Better be lucky that Wilder gave you Fury fights. That dude is out of here. Dude retired in a front seat. These people so biased out here. Yeah, Wilder a warrior, man. These people wouldn't even know half of these heavyweights. You got heavyweights that's older than Wilder, don't nobody even know until last year. Didn't nobody even know who Zhang was. And Zhang is 40 years old. I think he just turned like 42 or something like that. You got Caviel. He's undefeated, hasn't lost a fight. Hasn't been knocked. Well, I guess he got knocked down against Zhang recently. Got a stoppage against him. Undefeated heavyweight. He wouldn't have got any attention. So a lot of this hard work that Wilder did to help build this heavyweight division, a lot of these guys are getting paid off of it. Just to be real with you. So Wilder is indirectly feeding a lot of these guys. A lot of these guys are not millionaires, so they're going to be able to touch $1 million just off the fact that Wilder fought Tyson Fury, because there wasn't nobody else doing nothing in the heavyweight division before that. But they'll say, why is he coming back? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? Why do you care? You didn't care about heavyweight division before it started. Heavyweight division was trash before it started. Before Wilder got in the heavyweight division, wasn't nobody caring about boxing. The Klitschko's didn't even retire, and these dudes was out here like, oh, heavyweight boxing is back. I'm like, bro, we just had the Klitschko's. They ain't even want to watch the Klitschko's fight. Think about that. Now, mind you, Tyson Fury and Joshua had just fought the Klitschko's and all the other stuff. They didn't say boxing was back until Wilder fought Fury. Think about that. Those guys fought Klitschko's and everything. They still didn't try to make Fury and Joshua fight. Still ain't fought. So they didn't give Anthony Joshua and Fury credit for something they ain't done. As soon as they get hot in the kitchen, these dudes running. And if you look at it, Tyson Fury got a lot of passes, man. It's a lot of big heavyweights that would have gave him a lot of issues. There was a lot of big heavyweights that would have gave him issues. The matchmaking for him is at an all-time high. That's why we want guys to fight random guys that's ranked high. They know how to pick certain people that'll, he said not a pickup truck. For real, Aaron? Facts. Hey, real talk, Aaron. What a video. I'm gonna pull the video up. I got it on my page. I know I had posted on my page. Let me find this video. I said, this dude retired in a pickup truck? No. I said, nah. Tyson Fury did not just retire in the front of in a pickup truck, man. Where is it at? But they act like that. There it goes. Terrible. That back seat so close. I'm like, yeah, you can't fool me, dude. This dude is in a pickup truck. And they said I'm here acting like these dudes gonna carry the sport. And the reason I'm bringing this dude up is because these are the type of guys they say that are carrying the sport of boxing. Look at this. He in a pickup truck. or he in a helicopter, which would be worse. I mean, you think about you about to pull a Sosa. You about to get thrown out the helicopter like old boy did Sosa, like Sosa did on Scarface.
It's been a blast. I've loved every
Yeah, he's in a
minute of
pickup
it.
truck, man.
I'm gonna
Embarrassing.
remember this. Dick Turpin,
Dude was in the
the war on
front
maths.
seat of a pickup truck. Looked like he's on the passenger side.
See you on the other side.
So he told somebody,
Hi everybody.
I'm gonna hop out real
short
quick.
and sweet. I'd like to
All right, I'm gonna do this video and retire.
It's been a blast. I've loved every single minute of it, and I'm going to end with this. Dick Turpin wore a mask.
The passes they give some of these guys. And they talk about this guy's a big name in boxing. They was calling Tyson Fury the face of one of the faces of boxing last January. They said him, Joshua, Tank, and Canelo. Two guys who trying to fight Jake Paul, who agreed to fight Jake Paul, and a guy who just got knocked out in the 5th round, and the guy who just lost to a cruiserweight twice. Those are the faces of boxing. And Mike Tyson at an old age is doing the same thing they doing, going the distance, not getting knocked out, and everybody like, oh man, what Mike doing? What Mike doing? What's your favorite fighter doing? Why is your favorite fighter destroying the sport that I love? What you mean what Mike doing? And that shows you right there. They can put their eyes on Mike what he doing wrong, but Mike that's why I told y'all. This is not a fan page. I love boxers too. You know, I respect the sport. I got love for boxers. Going out there getting punched in the face is not something that's gonna be normal. You know, everybody gonna get celebrated. But at the same time, people gotta realize the way people support boxing, it don't happen in no other sport like that. To support the NFL, all I gotta do is turn it on. I ain't gotta buy no pay-per-views. I ain't gotta do nothing. So people go out of their way to support boxing because we love the sport and the fighters. You know, some people don't even go to concerts, but they'll spend $100 on a pay-per-view though to support boxing. But then you got people out here like getting mad at me when I tell the truth. That's why I said, bro, boxing is done, because I'm telling people the truth about what's going to happen and what's to come, and they get mad. So I'm like, oh, you're going to hate the sport then. Because whether you like it or not, this is going to happen. So anybody who watches my videos be like, oh, man, I don't like what he's saying. Okay, that's cool. I didn't like when I said that Jake Paul was going to have a chance to fight Canelo, but guess what? It happened. I didn't like when Tank said that Shakur was next, and then all of a sudden he fighting Frank Martin, and then talking about Rayo, and then De Los Santos, and then people didn't even know he was talking to De Los Santos. Then he ends up fighting Lamont Roach, and they was talking from 2 or 3 years ago. And Lamont Roach is a very competitive fighter, and that's why a lot of people was telling guys over the years we want to see Tank fight a black guy, and people was like, oh, why do people keep saying that? Why do people keep saying we want to see Tank fight a black fighter, a slick black fighter? Why do people keep saying that? Because it's a style that gives them problems. Most fighters have problems with guys from the same country as them. If you really know boxing like that, look at Bivol. Bivol have been all around the world. The toughest fight he had was with Vitterville. Vitterville have been all around the world. Toughest fight he's had was with a countryman. Joshua the same way. Joshua went all around the world, and the worst he got knocked out was at home against the boy. It takes a lot of studying to figure this stuff out. People just think I'll be out here talking. But they're going to hate the sport of boxing, though. Trust me. If you don't like the stuff I say, I'm going to pray for you. But yes, it's like this now. Jake Paul is considered the face of boxing. And I'm not saying that because I think he is. We have the faces of boxing feeling like they need to go to Jake Paul to get a payday while they're in their prime. Do I think Do I feel like Canelo has a chance against Jake Paul at 38 years old? Yeah, absolutely. Why he was trying to fight Jake Paul at 34 years old, I have no idea. The fact that nobody's trying to figure that out, I have no hope. I have no hope. I'm telling y'all, my feelings was absolutely destroyed a couple of weeks ago. When people look past this Canelo situation, I ain't want nobody to throw Canelo under the bus and say he's a trash guy because, I'm glad that he fighting Terrence Crawford. He didn't have to fight Crawford. A lot of people didn't want him to fight Crawford. They made every reason in the world he shouldn't fight Terrence Crawford. But I know Canelo was man enough to fight Crawford. That's why I was asking him to fight him. I mean, I'm a fan of boxing too, so I can request stuff as well. You know what I'm saying? All the other fights, people wasn't asking for, so he was gonna fight Jake Paul. So if y'all was okay with Jake Paul, then okay, we two different fans then. If you had a problem with Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul, but you good with Canelo fighting him, we two different fans. If you cool with Tank having a conversation with Canelo, but he telling you all the other fighters in boxing is trash, they be ducking, they ain't fought nobody, but he gonna confirm that Jake Paul is a real boxer by getting in the ring with him. And people will say, well, Mike Tyson did it. Mike Tyson been fighting for 50 years of his life, probably 60 years. If he close to 60, I'll just say 60. Mike Tyson been boxing for 50 years. He done more in the sport of boxing than all these guys. These guys have done nothing that Mike Tyson's done in boxing. Period. Tank Davis ain't done nothing Mike Tyson has done in boxing. And the way he's going, he'll never do nothing like Mike Tyson has done. Mike Tyson fought real names. Real names. Like Mike Tyson said to Charlo, name the names. He fought real names. We got professional boxers now that's smaller than Canelo that's talking about, well, I don't know, that's probably too much weight for me. So everybody ain't just jumping out there to fight him. So I ain't gonna just say that. But for those guys to be the one that everybody talking about got the high standards and they too good for this, too good for that. Oh, nah. Nah, not those guys. Oh, yeah, I like the Klitschko's too, man. Klitschko's, they were straight. A lot of people didn't like all the jabbing and boxing and the clinching and everything else. That's what I'm saying. When the Klitschko's was clinching and holding, a lot of people ain't had no problem with the Klitschko's when they were clinching and holding, and like Fury, when Fury's clinching and holding and fighting, nobody has an issue with Tyson Fury was clinching. Devin Haney get hit by a guy with a left hook with some juice on it. Everybody, oh, why he holding? Oh, he holding. Y'all seen that? He was hurt in a fight and he was holding. I never seen nobody hold after they got knocked down in a fight. That's cheating. That's hurting the sport of boxing. Just keeping it real. Because this right here ain't helping the sport of boxing. Nothing about Jake Paul versus Canelo or Tank Davis is helping the sport of boxing. People saying they getting paid though. Bro, if I wanted to see people get paid, I would watch the poker channel. If I wanted to see people get paid, I would go watch World Series of Poker. If I wanted to go see two men get paid, I would go see the World Series of Poker. I'm watching boxing. I think we're getting a little extreme with the we want to see guys get paid now type of stuff. Man, I don't watch sports for that, bro. I support everybody who get paid and everything else. I think everybody deserves their shine, but I'm not paying these guys though. The way I pay them is when they give me a fight I want to see, I support it. That's it. That's how it always been. Now y'all want me to pay for stuff I ain't asked for because this guy got some talent? What? That's like me going to Vegas and I'm walking the strip at Vegas. I'm gonna give y'all an example of what boxing turned into. Let's just say I'm at Las Vegas, right? And let's just say I got a girl with me. Me and her walking, and me and my homeboys, we got girls with us and stuff. And we walk past some escorts or whatever. And they like, hey, we got a special for tonight. We like, nah, we already got our girls there with us. Well, I'm still selling those, so you could support. Bro, no, I'm not finna do that. That's what boxing turned into. They want us to, we ain't even buying no hookers, and they want us to buy a hooker just because she's selling on the strip. Well, you can support her. She out here on the street, so to help her get off the street, you could support. That's what boxing turned into, prostitute. No disrespect, I'm just keeping it 1,000. Because if I want to support somebody, I can support my family if I want to support them in that kind of way. Like, dudes is doing nothing that interests me at all. But because they have talent and they can get some knockouts, I'm supposed to cash out and be like, hey, you know what? That's like me being at a strip club. I don't like strippers, but I'm throwing money out like, man, she is thick though. So let me go ahead and just let me go ahead and support while I'm in here. I just came in here to use the restroom, but let me go ahead and spend my money while I'm in here. Come on, man. Stop it. Stop it. We got hundreds of boxers in boxing. The only 2 boxers they tell everybody is good is Tank and Canelo. Everybody else, they like, oh, they trash. So when they say, oh, Tank and Canelo, they the only ones selling. Yeah, those been the only guys y'all been saying is good. Can't really sell a pay-per-view if you say somebody's ducking. If a guy's ducking, how I'm gonna sell a fight? I'm like, man, I heard Shakur Stevenson trying to fight this guy. Oh, he ducking, man. I'm like, okay. How we gonna sell the fight then, man? Like, they talking about Canelo and Tank. They the only ones who selling. Bro, they say that everybody else is trash. How is everybody else gonna sell? And that's a real question. How is everybody else gonna sell in boxing if you're only saying that 2 fighters are good in boxing? Do y'all know that people have to go to Turkey Al-Sheikh to get paid because they don't have a good reputation? Because it hasn't been enhanced by the faces of boxing? Usually in UFC, I'm gonna give somebody some education real quick. The way that casuals know how people are good in UFC is because the faces of UFC will go around and say, oh, this guy's good. I sparred him. He do this and this and this. Oh, this guy's good. I train with him. We on the same team. Oh, this guy's good. I know him. He's good. This is how casuals know who's good in boxing. Oh, I mean, UFC, my bad. In UFC. So in boxing, when guys are walking around saying, oh, this guy's trash, he's trash, he's trash. And then when we got to say, hey, that's the best we got. Keyshawn Davis, he's a silver medalist. Oh, he lost to Andy Cruz. He's trash. Oh, well, Shakur Stevenson, he's a silver medalist. Oh, he's trash. Oh, what about this guy? Oh, he's trash. Tank said he trash. Canelo said that dude don't even got no resume. Who he beat, he trash. What about Jake Paul? Oh, yeah, he good. Tank trying to fight Jake Paul. He good fighter. What about Canelo? Yeah, he a good. Canelo versus Tank? What about Jake Paul? What about Jake Paul? I heard Canelo trying to fight Jake Paul. What about him? Oh, yeah, he a good fighter. He a real fighter. Canelo don't fight nobody but real fighters. If Canelo has Jake Paul on his resume, Jake Paul will be considered a real fighter. I hope everybody knows that. I know people try to compare that to old Mike Tyson. Everybody know Mike Tyson old. Just because the commission wanted to poke their finger in front of Mike Tyson's face and disrespect him and do a backhand slap, putting Jake Paul versus Tyson as a professional fight, that's on them. They didn't do no other fights like that. So that's on them. If Fury would have lost to Ngannou, it wouldn't have been a professional fight. Trust me. And it was supposed to be a loss. And that was worse performance than what Tyson did. And Tyson's not a professional boxer right now, as far as in the game, everyday professional. He's been a pro before. We know that. He's a legend. But as far as everyday boxer, like Tyson Fury is, nah. He should have got some criticism. That's why he's at the crib right now. He criticized himself more than these fans will. That's why he's at home right now, retired. And people talking about he ain't retired. They don't even take some of these boxers serious when these guys tell them what's happening. That's why a lot of boxers don't open their mouths no more. Tyson Fury has been in interviews where he said some truthful stuff, and people are like, he's just joking. That's why when he finally tells the truth, and he's, because he says the truth in a joke, people are like, he's just playing. He's not retired. And the man ain't never coming back. It's official. It's official. So when you hear conspiracy theories and stuff you don't believe, you better start believing it. You better start believing it. It's a truth to everything you hear, even a rumor. You better start believing it. This right here is going to confirm who loves boxing and who don't. We're going to find out right now everybody who loves boxing and who don't. Everybody who was called a hater over the years for criticizing moves of Canelo and Tank Davis, everybody who called me a hater and stuff like that, y'all gonna have to stand on it, bro. Real talk. Because I ain't got to post not one more video ever again. The stuff I post, it's gonna come out. I told y'all whether it's gonna be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, y'all gonna be like, dang, Can't Face the Boxer said that. Absolutely. I ain't on here to push no narratives. I want to hit my target. I ain't trying to be on here pushing something nobody believe. Oh yeah, he said Fury come back to fight Paul. Yeah, you right about that. I ain't gonna lie to you, Tyson Fury would do that. You know why he would do that? Just because Jake Paul is such a big name and he fought his brother. And I think Tyson Fury is a good fighter. I think Tyson Fury is a good fighter. Because we still have to say this, though. Because I don't want to feel like I don't like Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury is a good fighter. I think he's cut a lot of corners. But I think he's a good fighter. Because he still fought Deontay Wilder before a lot of guys fought him. It was a lot of dudes that wasn't trying to get in the ring with Wilder. Anthony Joshua still ain't got in the ring with Wilder. It's a lot of dudes that have not gotten in the ring with Deontay Wilder. A lot of them. That's a lot of guys. Gotta think about it. That's a lot of people. So I definitely gotta give Tyson Fury his credit as far as his career, but as far as, just the outlook on him, as far as everybody thinking that he's invincible, and it ran out, man. It ran out. Not because he lost to Usyk. It's just the way everybody talks about other fighters, man. They're not building up any other fighters. It hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. That's why some people be like, man, why did y'all talk about other fighters? People do. They do talk about other fighters. They don't get attention unless they call somebody out or unless they get knocked out on a Jake Paul undercard. Dudes ain't getting no attention like that. They're not getting any attention. So boxing is getting tougher to cover because when the truth comes out, it's overlooked. Then years go by and then people realize, oh, that stuff that was coming out years ago, that was right. Oh, guys are trying to fight Jake Paul. Oh, nobody is ducking Tank. Oh, the guys that said they wanted to fight Tank, oh, they're having big fights against other champions. So everybody that said they want to fight Tank, do y'all realize all these guys are starting to fight each other? Ryan fought Devin Haney. Keyshawn trying to fight De Los Santos. All these guys are trying to fight each other. And the only problem they have with that is, well, Shakur ain't fighting Keyshawn. Bro, it's so many fighters other than just Keyshawn and Shakur Stevenson. Trust me. We still ain't seen Tank fight any of those guys. So it's not a mandatory to have that happen yet. But, maybe life can happen. Maybe they get a little beef or something can happen. I don't know. I'm not hoping that would happen. I'm just telling you, stuff happens. Nobody thought that Roy Jones or Tyson would get in the ring together. So who knows? Yeah, but he definitely would come back to fight Jake Paul. I haven't seen too many people turn down Jake Paul fights, to be honest with you. The only thing I've seen as far as Jake Paul is the timing and the scheduling. Like Canelo, he had already signed. That's what's crazy. Canelo signed in January to fight this guy. January of this year. Canelo's last good year. Because I don't think he's going to be the same after 35. I don't want to be disrespectful. Knock on wood. I hope he is. But it's kind of hard, bro. Especially Canelo's a drinker. He hasn't been looking the same. Just keeping it real. But you was going to spend your last year to fight Jake Paul? Your last good year? Yeah, let me go ahead and fight Jake Paul, man. Get this out the way. And then people are like, what happened to the sport of boxing? Why is boxing like this? Why is everybody chasing money? Oh, it's Mayweather. Mayweather brought Canelo into the game. I thought Mayweather was fighting Canelo so the sport of boxing could be better in 10 years. I didn't think that Mayweather fighting Canelo was going to make the sport of boxing worse. So when people say, oh, Crawford need to fight this guy. Oh, this guy needs to fight this person. They're not going to get credit for it anyways. So I'm kind of more in favor of these guys just doing whatever they want because that's what everybody else is doing. Once you mix your name with Jake Paul and the fans are okay with it, the sport is diminished. It is. I have respect for the younger generation, though. The guys who's like in their 20s right now, everybody's fighting each other. Virgil Ortiz. I think Virgil Ortiz is a dog. I don't know for sure if he's the best yet, but he's definitely, I would say this, for a guy that I don't know for sure if he's the best yet, he's definitely in the conversation of being one of the faces of boxing. I would say I have that much respect for him, and I don't say that a lot, if anybody knows me. But I'm on that type of time. I'm ready to reward guys who want to fight real fights, and he's Mexican, so, you know, maybe he can kind of play to that crowd a little bit. I know Mexican fans would appreciate a guy like Virgil Ortiz who's trying to fight everybody. So secretly, I'll say this. It's a lot of Mexican fighters who want to fight a little bit more than Canelo and a lot more tougher fighters than Canelo. If y'all haven't noticed, I wouldn't say they're competing with Canelo. They just want to, you know, they want to take that crown as far as when Canelo's done boxing, who's going to be the next tough Mexican fighter. So it's a lot of Mexican fighters right now trying to compete for that next spot, that top spot. Espinoza, a lot of guys. That's why you see a lot of people trying to get in the mix right now. They just don't know, though. You had Rayo lose recently. But a loss doesn't change that because, you know, Rayo can go out there, get a revenge fight against somebody or a big fight against somebody else and be back in the mix. But boxing gonna be different soon. You're gonna get used to a lot of people losing and guys bouncing back. It's gonna be a lot of stories like Dubois. It's gonna make boxing better though. That's how you build a legacy like that. But when guys are not fighting and they're in their prime, and you giving Jake Paul this much airtime, and I wasn't in favor of Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul, but I'll explain why it was good though. It was good because now you have over 10 women that will be able to make money being associated with Jake Paul and his company. And they're going to get paid well. And you're going to have Netflix carry boxing now, and they did a good job carrying the fight. They said it crashed a little bit, but I don't know. For that many people to make a Netflix app crash when it already has like 1 billion users, I don't know, bro. That number they put up there is kind of weird. Because if you have everybody in the world that has a Netflix app, you telling me that a Mike Tyson fight made your app crash? And it was only what? That sounds like 500 million to me, because that's like somebody saying, man, we got 200 million people on YouTube, the app crashed. Or Facebook, y'all know it's millions, even billions on some of these apps. So for Netflix to crash and they talking about, oh, it was only 70 million or something like that. Nah, way more than that. Nah, that was way, you add a zero to that. It had to be close to 1 billion. You talking about an app that everybody gets on every day. This isn't like back in the day where people have cable all over the place. Everybody has a Netflix account. Somehow. Yeah, somehow everybody has one now. But yeah, they dropped the ball on this one though. It's gonna be hard for a lot of people to recover from this one. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they don't realize it, but they want to compare guys like Tank and all fans of Tank and Canelo are not the same. Because I'm a fan of Tank and Canelo, but I'm talking about the extremists. Because anybody who gets offended by anything I'm saying, they're not a fan of boxing. They won't understand what I'm saying. They're fans of a boxer. And what I realize is we don't have a lot of boxing channels. We have fan pages. That's it. Y'all remember back in the day? I know a lot of us are older, a little older. So y'all remember MySpace and all those other pages? Well, y'all know on Twitter and stuff like that, they have stuff like that too. They got the little fan page. That's what YouTube has now. They don't have a whole bunch of, they'll have a boxing name up there, but it's a fan page though. The sport of boxing is disgusting right now. If I feel like a guy, if I'm disgusted by a guy who used PEDs and cheated in a fight, people will say, no, that wasn't cheating. That was a fair fight. Oh, it should have blocked the hook. Like, the sport of boxing is disgusting now, bro. Any sport that does that doesn't go by the rules. You got people out running around like outlaws and cowboys. It's crazy now. Then they're talking about, oh, y'all are just mad these guys beat this person. That's never happened in boxing where people are mad that somebody got outclassed in a fight. So what? Like I told people, man, when I was growing up, I was a fan of Mike Tyson. Seeing him lose all the big fights. The ones where I was able to see, because, you know, he was older by then. But he was losing all those fights. I didn't sit around here and say, man, you know, Mike Tyson a bum. Because as we can see, he can still bring in more people than some of these other guys. The crazy part is Mike Tyson has gotten beat up probably worse than Tank Davis and Canelo will ever get beat up in a fight. He got beat up so bad, he bit a guy's ear off. They'll never get beat up that bad, probably. And the bad part about it is, no matter what the fans say or the media says, they will never be able to get the attention that Mike Tyson gets. Because they announced the fight with Jake Paul, or it was rumors, and nobody cares. So the bad part about this is, and I told y'all, that's why I said I feel bad for Tank. Because he has a lot of people that's ready to ride and everything else for him and call people haters. But when it's time to talk about him versus Jake Paul, they don't care. But they'll say your favorite fighter is ducking Tank, though. A lot of these people just want to argue, man. They don't care about Tank Davis fighting Jake Paul. They don't care that a lot of these guys ain't ducking Tank. It's just that Tank had a fight lined up to fight Jake Paul. They don't care about none of that. They don't care. They just want to argue. That's why the first thing they say is, oh, it's my opinion. What's wrong with my opinion? You got 1,000 facts that just came out today and you want to talk about your feelings? You want me to massage your feelings? We got Tank putting out tweets and all kind of stuff, all kind of boxing news coming out. And you want me to come out here and talk about your feelings? What? Are these dudes serious? These dudes want me to break down the fight, and I just told them Lamont Roach the goods, bro. Don't watch out for Lamont Roach. I think he going 12. I think he might win this fight. I know he going 12 though. Then people will come over here. Why we ain't talking about boxing? You ain't trying to talk about no boxing. Stop it. Stop it. We ain't trying to talk about no boxing no more. The cat's out the bag now. Jake Paul run boxing. They look at boxing a different way. And I'm not just going to say it's a race thing all the way around, because Tank and Canelo doing the same thing. And it's accepted on both sides. So I can't just say it's a black thing this time around, because it's accepted on both sides. You have black people that accept what Tank Davis does it. You have white people accepting what Canelo does it. It's not a black and white thing. They're both fighting Jake Paul and everybody's quiet. I want everybody to realize that. I have both sides that don't like me. And this is the reason why. But it's okay because in 10 years from now, they're going to have to explain to their grandkids or kids why they were okay with Tank Davis and Canelo having negotiations with Jake Paul. That's why I'm making this video. They're going to be like, hey, this guy Can't Face a Boxer has a video he put up on April 10th, 2025. And he said that a lot of you guys were okay with Jake Paul, a YouTube boxer, fighting the faces of boxing. If everybody's ducking Canelo and Tank and they're not good enough, how is Jake Paul good enough? You know what they're going to say? Well, Jake Paul did fight Mike Tyson. Oh, I thought you guys didn't want Jake Paul to fight Mike Tyson. So you're giving Jake Paul credit for going the distance with an old Mike Tyson? Why do we have diehard boxing fans that are giving Jake Paul credit for going the distance with a senior citizen? Why he's not getting criticized for not getting a knockout? Why fans don't feel like Jake Paul wasted my time by promising that he was going to knock out Mike Tyson? Then Mike Tyson tried to go at him the first 3 rounds. He tired the man out, then tried to get a knockout on him. Couldn't get it. And then didn't even try the last 10 seconds. Try to dap him up and all this other stuff like he was Neo, like it was Neo and Morpheus off the Matrix. Y'all remember when Neo and Morpheus was having that battle on the Matrix? That's what Jake Paul thought it was. That man ain't getting no criticism for that fight. Like, he didn't redeem himself. He lost recently. If y'all seen, Mike Tyson was had more energy when he fought Roy Jones. It's just that Mike Tyson a little older. He ain't been in the gym like that. And he had a little health situation, trying to get ready for the fight. It was what it was. He had to promote the fight because, you know, everybody ain't coming to see Jake Paul. No disrespect, but like I said, Jake Paul fought plenty of times last year. Nobody cared until he fought Mike Tyson. You can't name no other opponent that Jake Paul fought last year. And the man fought at least twice last year. So Mike Tyson had to do all the promotion and everything else, helping build up Jake Paul's name because don't nobody know him for real. And then by the time the fight comes, people talking about, oh man, Mike supposed to perform. Mike came out there and walked him down the first 2 rounds like he was supposed to. Other than that, Mike, like, that's what I emptied the tank. It is what it is. Y'all know how I fight. I'm good for a couple of rounds. After that, I'm gone. Yeah, man, that was a bad fight. That's why Tank was like, man, I'm gonna go out here and knock out Jake Paul. I ain't like that. I was like, that's crazy, because I actually agree with Tank Davis on that one. I'm like, I actually agree with Tank on that one. Oh yeah, this is bad news though. It's bad news. I'm gonna tell you why. It's hard to get on here and cover boxing and talk about the young fighters in boxing and the unknowns and the guys we need to be talking about to help grow the sport when you got guys like this crashing out the sport of boxing. This ain't nothing but a car crash, bro. Everybody talking about Floyd. If people say Floyd set boxing on fire and he made boxing like this and he made being undefeated and all that stuff a big deal, if people say that, then guess what? Tank and Canelo threw gasoline on it. They just threw gasoline on it. This is worse than what Floyd did. Canelo will never be 38 years old and fight a 23-year-old Canelo. Never in his life. This is not like fighting Canelo. Canelo's not even at the age where Floyd was fighting him. I think Floyd was like, what, 36 or something? He'll never be at that age where he's an old man and he go out there and fight a guy like Canelo. Canelo would never do that. Munguia looking shaky right now. And that right there makes that Crawford fight look even closer in my mind. Because I'm like, how did he? They talking about he carried Munguia? Psh, not from what I seen. Yeah, this is horrible, man. How are we going to build a sport like this? So we got all these fighters in boxing. So if Canelo and Jake Paul, Canelo and Tank is entertaining Jake Paul. How are we gonna build these other fighters up? Now all the kids walking around are gonna say, "Oh, is that guy gonna fight Jake Paul?" I'm like, "Nah, he ain't in Jake Paul weight class, but in a way kind of small. He's not in Jake Paul's weight class. Oh, if he don't fight Jake Paul, then he's not a real fighter." Tank Davis and Canelo, they fought Jake Paul. These dudes out here trying to be Mike Tyson. Talking about they the faces of boxing. You got a whole sport on your back. You done fought on 50 networks. You talking trash to a billionaire, trillionaire. Then you out here like, yeah, I need a Jake Paul fight. What? Last time I checked, usually the superstars come to the faces of boxing. You got to be somebody who can sell something on your own. This is no disrespect, but Jake Paul don't sell fights on his own, man. He needs somebody who can sell fights with him. If you look at all the fights Jake Paul had, he needed somebody to sell a fight with him. All his fights ain't go viral. He's not as popular as everybody's making him seem. Even with the Canelo thing. I mean, even with the Mike Tyson fight. People are trying to make it seem like Jake Paul is super popular because of the Mike Tyson fight. No, he's not, because he announced that he was going to fight his brother after that, and nobody cared. The man had to announce he's going to fight his. Yeah, that's the crazy part, man. He had to announce that he was fighting his brother for some cash, which is insane to me. Is it gonna come up, man? All right, the man is 11-1. All right, I want anybody to know any of these names. Any of these names, I'm gonna name real quick. Does anybody know who Ryan Borland is? Ryan Borland. Does anybody know who Ryan Borland is? That's the guy who Jake Paul fought. We know he fought Mike Perry last year, but I'm talking about Ryan Borland. Ryan Borland is the guy that Jake Paul fought a couple of weeks before, a month before Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney fought. Then he fought a guy named Andre August, I want to say a little over a year ago. Does anybody know those guys? Andre August, Ryan Borland. Andre August, Ryan Borland. Any of those guys. The reason why I'm saying that is because those guys went out there and fought Jake Paul. If Jake Paul was a big name, we would have heard about those fights. Just, even with you just being around boxing or anything, you would have said, okay. Jake Paul fought that August guy. Everybody knows he fought Tommy Fury. Might not have watched it, but he fought Tommy Fury. A lot of people don't know he lost to Tommy Fury because they act like he's still undefeated. They act like they need to see him lose again. People are like, oh, I just need to see him lose so bad. And guess what? That's what Jake Paul uses the Yeah, exactly, Nathan Wild, man. That's what Jake Paul uses he uses the Mayweather thing. See, people act like, oh, Mayweather, he was chasing money and he was fighting whoever he wanted to and everything else. These other guys are doing that, but also they're fighting Jake Paul. And Jake Paul is doing what Mayweather did. He's using the fans against themselves, really. He's making people want to see him get knocked out for wanting to see him fight, and it has nothing to do with his boxing skills. He's not a skillful boxer. And the fact that a lot of people look at him as a skillful boxer, most people don't say that Jake Paul can't box. You'll find more people that say that Deontay Wilder can't box before they'll say Jake Paul can't box. When Jake Paul's name comes up, I usually don't hear people say he can't box. I don't usually hear people say that. You know, usually when you hear a guy like Jake Paul, you're supposed to be hearing, oh, this dude can't box, man. Super overrated. I don't even know why he's being discussed. He can't box. He lost to Tommy Fury, yeah. Went the distance with an old Mike Tyson. Yeah, he can't box. But nah, people are like, yeah, I'd like to see him in a ring with Canelo. Now, mind you, they haven't asked Canelo to fight anybody else besides Jake Paul. So I can't really blame Canelo because it's like the only fight I actually heard people asking for Canelo to fight, the people who don't want to see him fight Crawford. The people who don't want to see Canelo fight Crawford, the only fight they were asking for was Jake Paul. No Benavidez, no Morrell, nobody. So people can say, man, you know, I don't like Canelo doing that. I don't either, but that's the only fight they asked him to fight. So if Terrence Crawford wasn't fighting him right now, he'd be fighting Jake Paul. And no fans will say anything about it. Then the first thing they say is, oh, well, we take the sport serious and, you know, this guy hasn't done anything in boxing and everything else, and why does he deserve a Tank Davis fight or a Canelo fight? People have to explain to me. They're going to have to explain to all of us how Jake Paul was able to get a Canelo fight and a Tank Davis fight. How Jake Paul was able to get a Tank Davis and Canelo fight. What's up, PD? What's going on, dog? Because you know boxing done when you got to compare somebody to a 60-year-old man, a guy who's currently the top fighter in boxing. You got to compare him to a 60-year-old man. That's like when Floyd was boxing. I'm out here like, yeah, man, Floyd can't do nothing like Sugar Ray just did, though. He said, what we talking about? Tank Davis, Jake Paul came out yesterday and confirmed that him and Tank Davis were scheduled to fight next. So definitely cut my VPN on. Definitely cut my VPN. Yeah, I'm good. Still in here. Yeah, it's good now, man. They tripping. Yeah, they be doing that on purpose, man. We call that sabotage. Yeah, they don't want me putting out this information, but it's going out.
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure. We do have an announcement next week, but I'm just not gonna leak anything. And like, we've had these fights pulled twice now at the 1 yard line, Canelo, Gervonta. I'm just not gonna jinx it and say anything.
Joshua?
Yeah, no, that we're gonna plan that for 2026. You know, he called me up and was like, I saw you call me out, and he's like, let's run it, let's make it happen. Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure. We do have an announcement next week, but I'm just not gonna leak anything. And like, we've had these.
Yeah, I hope everybody heard that. They be tripping on the live, bro. They working now. They done kicked everybody out. I don't know if everybody heard it, but I'm gonna play it back one more time.
It happened. Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure. We do have an announcement next week, but I'm just not gonna leak anything. And like, we've had these fights pulled twice now at the 1 yard line, Canelo, Gervonta. I'm just not gonna jinx it.
Yeah, they be out here doing some sabotaging, bro. Trust me, they be out here listening. Trust me. They be out here listening. Trust me. They know what I do. Yeah, appreciate y'all for hanging in, man. Yeah, they messed up the live. I mean, it ain't been like this for 2 hours. As soon as PD got it on here and Aaron, then they started trying to crash out. Well, Aaron was already on here, but they tried to crash out. They be trying to crash out the lives. They know what time it is. Let me turn my volume up. I think my volume probably a little low right now. Yeah, they know what time it is though, man. They know what time it is. Oh yeah, PD, yeah. Oh yeah. He one of them. Oh yeah. Big facts. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, big facts, PD. Big facts. Big facts. Big facts. You already know. Man. You already know. It be weird cause I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It be weird cause what they do is they'll have y'all people will be on the live, but they'll just be kicking people off. Like they'll push you off or they'll have it going slow to where you like, oh, I'm just gonna come back later on. So when y'all see a lot of people don't be on here, they'll slow it down to where ain't nothing going on. And then when everybody jump off, they'll speed it back up again. But people will watch later on or whatever. But yeah, they be doing that. You know what I'm saying? Anything they can do to mess with your boy. Definitely. But it ain't gonna change the fact that these dudes trying to jump in the ring with Jake Paul though. That's why when people be saying they want to come up here and talk. And y'all notice too, I done had panels and everything where ain't nothing happen. I done had fight calls where I didn't call fights where ain't nothing happened. Aaron and PD knows that. Native Wild Man knows that. I've had fight calls where nothing happens on here. No lagging, no internet issues or computer issues, connection issues, nothing like that. So yeah, they know what time it is. That's just confirmation. Anytime that happen, they like, oh man, you doing too good. Like, man, you doing too good. Cause trust me, whatever views they say I have or what pops up, that's fine. But the people I know that watch, they know what time it is. They already know. I have no reason to lie. Right now, we have a big issue in boxing. To be honest with you, if I wasn't really covering boxing, not to say I'm the biggest thing out here or nothing, but I do work hard though. Like I watch boxing 24/7. Like when everybody else is watching something else, I'm always watching boxing. So why would I not talk about boxing on the boxing channel? But a lot of these people don't watch boxing 24/7. They follow these other people and co-sign what they say and don't really do their research. I learned from a lot of people though, like PD. I learned from PD. I learned a lot from him when it comes to boxing. Aaron as well. A lot of people I learned from. People might not think I pay attention, but I learned a lot of stuff from people. I learned who legit, who ain't, certain things to look for. But yeah, I pick up on everything. But one thing they don't like that I know about, I know when somebody trying to fight somebody before the fight happens. Until they change that, for some reason, I can't even tell you who some of my favorite fighters will fight. But when it comes to Canelo and Tank, for some reason, I know who they gonna fight because it has like the same kind of method as Floyd, but it's kind of close, but not really. Because people try to say, well, Floyd fought McGregor and these other guys. Yeah, but people had to put money behind him to actually make that happen. Floyd was making so much money that they think that all these other guys is Floyd. He was making so much money, now they think these other guys is Floyd. They like, well, we'll have this guy fight an MMA person. We'll have this guy fight a kickboxer or NBA fighter. I mean, NBA player like Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul. People wanted to see that. That's why I was telling people last year. I'm like, hey man, you look at it, it kind of looks like if you just look at Canelo's boxing resume, it kind of looked like he stepped out of the way a little bit so Jake Paul could shine for a little bit. Look at his resume. After he fought Triple G that last time, that second time, it looks like he stepped out of the way to let Jake Paul shine a little bit. And that's when Jake Paul was making all that noise during the pandemic, making all that noise. And I'm looking around, I'm hearing Benavidez say, yeah, I want to fight Zurdo Ramirez. I want to fight Charlo. He said, I want to fight Canelo. I'm like, you got Benavidez begging to fight Zurdo Ramirez right now? I said, Zurdo that just fought Bivol? I said, that's a good fight. They need to put that together. So they got to build that fight up. They want to make Jake Paul fight immediately, but everybody else got to build their fights up. He's not that big of a name, man. He's not. He's getting the access to be a big name like that because once you get access to Netflix, you're getting access to their whole platform, and the fight is going to be free to see. So this lets you know right now that certain platforms, they'll provide free fights. It just depends on what kind of fights they are. It just depends. But most of those guys that Tank said ain't that good, Netflix ain't finna put those guys on the on their app. Because most of the fans would be like, man, that's the guy that Tank said ain't that good. Why they got him on there before Tank? So it would be bad business for Netflix to put anybody that's in a lower weight class on their app before Tank Davis. That would be a bad idea. So that's why he possibly is an option. That's why it looks like it. And I know that's real. And also the other fight I know that's real is Canelo, him and Canelo. Jake Paul and Canelo being talked about and nobody caring. That makes this whole era bad, man. Yeah, exhibition fights in his prime, PD. People don't understand that. These dudes are in their prime, man. They're in their prime right now. We just had boxers having 15-round fights. George Foreman was fighting 15-round fights as an old man after he came out of retirement. I think he came out of retirement and fought 15-round fights. After taking 10 years off, George Foreman boxed most of his prime, took off 10 years, then came back out of his prime and was fighting 15-round fights. But now we got guys fighting Jake Paul. How long that fight's gonna be? Jake Paul ain't finna fight for 12 rounds. So how long that fight's gonna be? I'm telling you. And then people will get on here and call everybody a hater. I'm telling y'all, this, if people don't understand this, please understand this part. You ain't gotta like what I'm saying, just understand this. Everything that people think that they've been doing to defend and protect Canelo and Tank has diminished everything about any other boxer. Everything you heard negative about a boxer has came from a fan base or the mouth of Canelo Alvarez and Tank Davis. All these boxers. Keyshawn Davis right now, anytime his name comes up, you got to explain why he lost a gold medal to Andy Cruz. And Andy Cruz is like 30 years old almost. And PD, I'm glad you said that, PD. PD, I'm glad you said that, dog. Because, you know, I already ran through a whole bunch of points early before you came in. See, PD be saying the same stuff I be saying, bro. PD, you know what's crazy? I was saying that people don't even know that this is how dumb Canelo fans are. And yes, I said it. If you support Canelo, I ain't saying you dumb because you support Canelo. I'm talking about some of these fanatics that's going out of their way to disrespect Terrence Crawford. Let's just say you think Terrence Crawford's trash. Okay. Let's just say that, right? All right, you say Terrence Crawford's trash. If these guys, PD, if these guys think Terrence Crawford's trash, do they know that the only boxer that Canelo was going to fight besides Jake Paul was Terrence Crawford? So right now, you got to choose between Jake Paul and Terrence Crawford. People have a bigger problem with Terrence Crawford fighting Canelo than they have with Jake Paul fighting Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. They have a bigger problem with Jake Paul fighting this guy. I'm at Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul. But they'll let these guys, oh yeah, they can do whatever they want. But you know, when Floyd was fighting, and I'm gonna tell you something else too. That's why I said, why would I celebrate Canelo Alvarez's career when people don't give Floyd credit for fighting this guy? So for you to not give Floyd credit, for you to say Floyd was cherry picking around the time that he fought Canelo Alvarez, you're admitting that Canelo Alvarez, you think that Canelo's a bum. You trying to call this dude the face of boxing, but when we talk about Floyd Mayweather, his resume, you're saying he's a bum. You said it was 15 when he came back? Yeah, you might be right. It was in the 80s, I think, when they was doing the 15 rounds. You might be right, though. Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, it's wild, man. What's going on, Dog Bud out there in the comments? Yeah, but yeah, they giving this guy a pass though. If it wasn't for Terrence Crawford fighting Canelo Alvarez right now, dudes would have to watch. They will be waiting on Canelo to fight Jake Paul May 5th, May 4th, whatever it is. And they would have to be okay with it. You haven't heard no backlash. That's why I said, and people are not going to like what I'm going to say, but they're treating these other fighters like they're the faces of boxing. When you have no problem with Jake Paul and Canelo and Tank fighting each other or talking about fighting each other, but then you turn around and you say, oh, well, Haney fighting Jose Ramirez, that ain't no good fight. Or Wise Wilder fighting this guy who got 9 losses. That don't make no sense. Y'all, people making up so many narratives and things they running with, they can't come back from it no more. And I like it because once you say it this time, you can't say it in the future. What you gonna use? Use the same narrative? Then people gonna catch on to you. It's a lot of people that trying to use the same narratives like ducking and talking about business. See, what Dana White and all these other guys is gonna do in boxing, they finna take away the talk about ducking. So when people like to talk about ducking for 5 hours, that's finna go away. When people are talking about business of boxing, well, I know this guy's not trying to do this and this promotional that's going away too. That's going away. It's crazy because it feels like the promotional companies and boxing is so tired of these fighters acting like they know the business of boxing. They like, man, let's go ahead and just put these fights together. These dudes talking about ducking and everything. We didn't already milk the game. At least I hope they get on that card instead of, man, look, PD, that's what I'm saying, dog. How they have Amanda Serrano and people will say, oh, you just jealous. Bro, no, I'm not, bro. Nobody wants, if you had a choice to see Clarissa Shields versus Layla Ali, and they wanted I don't even think they wanted half of what Amanda Serrano them getting. I think they only wanted like 25% of what they getting. They getting the whole $15 million. Boxing ring for free. and they just would have sparred each other. And the boxing community, they would have been okay with it. We ain't finna give them no shine because, you know, Katie Taylor, she on they in Matchroom, and you know, Serrano's with MVP Promotions, and we'll rather watch that than Carissa Shields versus Layla. Then they talking about, yeah, but I want these fighters to get paid though. No, you don't. I'm tired of people saying that. That's the biggest lie in boxing. People saying that. That's the biggest lie in boxing history. You ain't trying to see no fighters get paid. First of all, more people was getting paid when Floyd was fighting than it is now, because a lot of these guys that's fighting right now, they still ain't making no money. A lot of these guys still ain't making no money. Y'all think I'm lying? You think I'm lying? Shakur Stevenson just fought a guy who had to have a job on the side to provide for his boxing career. This dude, Josh Padley, had a whole job. The guy who Munguia got knocked out by, that dude was selling shoes recently. This dude been selling shoes when he's knocking out Munguia. I don't even know if people know that or not. People talking about Shakur Stevenson fought an electrician. Munguia got knocked out by a shoe salesman. This man selling shoes, man. Looking for a job. Which is a good thing. You know, he got 2 master's degrees, but man, looking for a job, man. Boxing is tough right now. Everybody ain't getting paid. Munguia got knocked out by a guy who needed a job, who's selling shoes with 2 master's degrees. Boxing is not easy right now. So for these guys to be over here pivoting to Jake Paul like he's bigger than they are, this proves that Jake Paul is a bigger commodity than Tank Davis and Canelo Alvarez to the sport of boxing. They're not moving the needle like that. Oh yeah, PD, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm gonna do it live. I gotta do it tonight. I said I was gonna do it last night. PD, I gotta. Matter of fact, PD, you own my Discord. So everything I'm gonna do on my members only live tonight, I'm gonna send y'all the message, and I just want y'all to read it. So I'm gonna send it to y'all. What I'm gonna do? Trust me. You know I usually don't send messages like that, but if I send a message, you already know what time it is. I'm gonna send you everything I'm gonna do tonight. But I'm gonna do the video tonight on members only. Bro, it's some stuff that's happening in boxing right now. Everybody who's been here, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I appreciate everybody who support. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I appreciate everybody who support, because you know a lot of this stuff, when I be reporting this stuff, a lot of this stuff ain't never been said before. I ain't copying nobody that's saying this. I'm just going off the hip with a lot of this stuff, trusting a lot of the information I'm seeing. But I appreciate everybody who support the channel though, for real, because I done said a lot of crazy things that's coming true. That Jake Paul and Canelo thing, that solidified me in the game. I'm telling y'all that right now. That solidified me, dog. Y'all might not understand what I'm saying, but when it comes to covering boxing, that solidified me. Nobody was talking about Canelo and Jake Paul. Everybody knows this. When I was talking about that last year, when the Mike Tyson fight was coming up, people was looking at me like I'm crazy. I had a lot of people actually stop following me because I was taking the Jake Paul Canelo fight serious. Now this man signed on the dotted line. Now he got Tank. Whenever he want to pick up the phone and call him, he got Tank setting up a fight before the Lamont Roach fight over with. Nah, this bad right here, man. People don't know how bad this is. I've never seen any superstars in boxing, you know, feel like they need to go to a Jake Paul to make money. You got to think about it. People are saying that Tank Davis and Canelo are the cash cows. Floyd used to be able to take a nobody and make money with them. It's a difference. It's a difference now. People trying to make it seem like, well, Canelo, he's the face of boxing. He's the cash cow, big name. And he can't get a no name and hit a home run with them. It ain't happening. I felt like that John Ryder fight was put together very well. Nobody cared. Triple G fight, the third fight was forced. This fight with Crawford, Canelo feels like this is the biggest fight he gonna ever have. Canelo feels like the Crawford fight is the biggest fight he's gonna ever have, bigger than the Floyd Mayweather fight. And he wasn't saying that to promote fights. If anybody knows Canelo don't get out here and just talk to sell tickets. Canelo is about to be 35 years old in the summer. He does not get on the microphone to sell tickets. He doesn't get on the microphone to promote other boxers. He's never done that before in his life. He's been in the ring with Floyd. He's never got in the ring with Floyd and said, yeah, this is going to be the biggest fight in the world. That man said as soon as the fight got announced with Crawford, he said it's going to be a bigger fight than the Floyd fight. Canelo feels like this is his biggest fight in his career. So it's a privilege for him to step in the ring with Terrence Crawford while these fans out here talking crazy. And the sad part about it is I'm not even Mexican. And guess what? If Canelo get knocked out, I'm going to have to pick him up. I'm going to have to be the one to pick him up. That's why I ain't even talking trash about him. Because if Canelo get knocked out, which is it's a good chance he can. I'm going to tell you why it's a good chance he can get knocked out. If Munguia can get put to sleep by the guy who nobody knows, anybody can get knocked out. Anybody can get knocked out. And the man got knocked out after he got in the ring with Canelo. And y'all all know this. Everybody knows who Canelo fights. And if the fight sold so much, because I think Munguia fight sold more than the Berlanga fight, or if I might be tripping. But the way they overlooked that, yeah. He said to Sean O'Malley a boxer with braids and tats. But yeah, man, they definitely it's go time now, man. Everybody gotta wake up. They gotta stand on their own too in boxing. It is go time now. When I tell you guys, oh man, that's cool. So you gotta pass. Oh, respects to him, man. I didn't know he passed away. You said you got his watch. It's the only one you have. Yeah, I try to hold on to any watch I done had. Yeah, he get KO'd by Bud, bro. It's over with. You already know what time it is, PD. Then you done called it years ago? What? And you called it years ago? Yeah, you know we standing on it. We got to at this point now. PD, we didn't go on too far, bro. We got to stand on it. Then you called it years ago? Then, you know what's crazy? You might have been the first one to say it. I think PD is on record. I think PD is the first person on earth that can prove that he said that Crawford can knock out Canelo. I think he might be the first one. Guaranteed. And we can prove it. Oh, it got the links on there? Yeah, I had bought one. I had found out how to change my links on the watch recently. It ain't that hard either. I thought it was pretty easy. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna take this so far. But yeah. Oh, you did? Dang, man. Sad to hear that, bro. I know that was tough, bro. Sad to hear that. Dang, that's wild. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's why I try to appreciate everybody every day, because you never know what happens. It's a lot of people, passing away the last couple of years. Gotta appreciate everybody every moment too. Yeah, I said sorry to hear that, bro. Yeah, you the chief now though. You definitely the chief now. He's that second best KO in my lifetime after the yeah, it will be. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. PD, I don't know if that happened, dog. Might have to do one of them long lives, bro. Might have to be a long live. If that happens, that's gonna be a long live. I seen so many people talking trash yesterday. Oh man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I followed a lot of boxers in my career. I mean in my lifetime. But as far as their careers, and I felt like Wilder was a guy who was angry, and he's scary when he gets angry, but when it comes to Terrence Crawford, he has like a mean streak. I don't know why. Like he's just, a mean streak from far out. Wilder, he'll kind of, he's not really taking stuff personal because that power gonna show up regardless. But he got a mean streak, man, that just, I don't know how to explain it, bro. That's why people say, man, why did he fight Earl Spence like that? Because, bro, everybody been trolling him. Yeah, people disrespecting his family and stuff like that. People bringing up his moms. And, bro, he finna destroy some of these guys. Well, trust me, bro. He gonna take all that pain out on Canelo. He gonna take it all out on Canelo. He's definitely going to do it. And this is going to help. This is going to be the icing on the cake, man. This is going to be like that scene on Blade when Blade had at the end when he was yelling Frost. Y'all remember when he was yelling for Frost? Running through. That's what Crawford going to be on. He going to be like Blade on Blade 1. At the end of the movie. That's what the Crawford fight going to look like. Because we got to realize the man has not had any credit yet as far as being given any kind of recognition for his boxing career. They still look at him like he's a bum. I know he's the first a number 1 pound for pound fighter. They still look at him like he's a bum though. They're like, yeah, he's too small. He this. He's too small. Y'all gotta think about it. When Manny Pacquiao was moving up, people didn't say Manny Pacquiao was too small. Manny Pacquiao moved up from like 104, 106 or something to 154, 47. Nobody ever said one time, oh, he's too small, man. And for people to note, and for people to not say that Manny Pacquiao was too small, that lets you know that people know how to break down boxing. And they know how to recognize skills. Because the average person to say, oh man, these guys are casuals, they don't know. Nah, they know. They know. They didn't say Manny Pacquiao was too small for these other guys. They know. They know. Yeah, it's definitely number one. It's definitely number one. It's definitely number one. The only reason I can see Canelo possibly getting stopped, and this is the only reason, is because I don't know. I don't want to say I sound stupid, but it's tough, man. Like you got to realize, like the way that Terrence Crawford take care of his body is like on a Floyd Mayweather kind of level. But I think it's even more. I think Terrence Crawford's level is even more worse than that because, Floyd was a guy who eat McDonald's and all kind of stuff. I don't even know if Terrence Crawford does that, man. I don't even think he does that. So the guy, he's in tip-top shape. So for people to be overlooking him, I'm like, bro, y'all don't understand that. That's crazy. But I'm glad though. Oh yeah, man, that's good, bro. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, now I'm learning from you. Yeah, now I'm learning from you, man. Yeah, you know how to catch them though. You definitely one of the best I've seen. You definitely know how to catch them. That's a fact. Oh, you had learned from him, or he had taught you, or you had knew how to do it already? Yeah, you barely see a KO like that. You barely. And you right about that, PD. That's why I'm kind of like, I don't know about the knockout. I respect Canelo chin way too much to just go out on a limb and say, I guarantee he'll get knocked out. Nah. Canelo got a chin for real. And Canelo knows when to box. And he been working on his jab, so that might sound crazy, but he has. He was jabbing the crap out of Berlanga and Munguia. I was like, okay. Canelo in his bag right now. Yeah, I don't either, bro. Yeah, me either. Me either, Native Wild, man. I'm like, can't do it. That's why I be on my herbal, herbal mixtures like you be doing. Yeah, I definitely would be on that. But the sport of boxing right now, man, it's changing. People don't understand it. It's changing in a good way. Because everything you're gonna want to see is happening. Now I'm gonna tell you, it's a lot of people that's, they got OCD a little bit. They want to be worrying about too many things they don't gotta worry about. For some reason, people are trying to figure out how boxers are gonna get paid. I'm gonna let you know right now. If Tank Davis, yeah, that's good, man. That dude was a beast. Yeah, he gonna age like LeBron. I don't know how he gonna look. Hey, YG, I don't know how he gonna look at the end of this year. I don't know how Tank Davis gonna look. Because he gonna turn 35. And like I was saying recently, I think Oscar De La Hoya last fight was at 35 years old. So for Canelo to still be, and Canelo's talking about he gonna hang it up soon too. Just for anybody who wanna know, Canelo gonna hang it up in like soon. Very soon. I said that last year, but it's very soon now. He doesn't have many people. Shout out to YG Trey, man. Yeah, he doesn't have many options. Very soon he's gonna be done. Very soon. But I respect Canelo for fighting Crawford, though. I respect it. He picked up the fight faster than a lot of other guys did. It took other guys years to get in the ring with Crawford. So I definitely respect Canelo for getting in the ring with Crawford, but this goes to show right here that these guys love the moves that Mike Tyson made. A lot of people wasn't looking at Jake Paul to fight Jake Paul before the Mike Tyson fight. After Mike Tyson fought Jake Paul on Netflix, for some reason, to Canelo, I know a lot of people might not think so because, Canelo and Tank are considered the faces of boxing. These guys are grown men, they in their 30s. But these guys look up to Mike Tyson like they're like little kids. When they seen Mike Tyson in the ring with Jake Paul, they was just like, man, that looked like Mike Tyson in the old days, just, fighting in a big fight. That's something I want to do. And I get to get revenge on Jake Paul. So yeah, they loved it. Yeah, Manny was Oscar's last fight, man. Oscar was fighting Manny at 35. And I'm going to tell y'all something right now. Oscar was not supposed to be in the ring with that guy. Most people wouldn't have jumped in the ring with Manny Pacquiao around that time. Manny Pacquiao was like a piranha. If y'all ever seen what a piranha does, he was like a piranha, man. He was destroying Hall of Fame fighters. I was scared for Floyd to fight him. I was like, man. I wasn't saying don't fight him. I was like, man, this Pacquiao dude, he might beat the crap out of Floyd, man. I don't know. Yeah, Mike was. After that, Mike started getting, he had that same kind of energy. Yeah, a lot of these trainers, man, they dictate a lot of these guys' careers. Like Tank don't look the same without Calvin Ford, but people don't care about that though. Haven't y'all noticed that? Like, the respect that Tank gets and the belief in him is unlike anything I ever seen. Because for him to change trainers and for people to not say, hey, man, you need to go back to your old trainer. You don't hear many people saying that about Tank. So for that not to be going on, it's like, it's kind of weird, man. You would think that's, if he have a performance like he did against Lamont Roach, a lot of people would say he need to change trainers or go back to his old trainer. But you're not really hearing that. And like I said, I feel sorry for him because I don't know if the advice or criticism he's going to get is going to be able to, or people. I don't know if people understand where he's at as far as, the supporters and fans. I don't know if they understand where he's at right now. But he's going to be on here like his third trainer in what? The last 2 years? It's not going to be good. Last person I seen do something like that was Anthony Joshua. Start fighting MMA guys and you jumping from trainer to trainer. Telling you, it's a red flag every time. I'm telling you, history never lies, bro. History never lies. You can look at any sport, in boxing, basketball. History never lies. It's gonna catch up with you. Just like Zion Williamson right now. I know we talking about different sports. Just like Zion Williamson. Bro, I done seen basketball players like Zion Williamson. I done grew up watching Sean Kemp versus Michael Jordan. I done grew up watching Grandmama, Larry Johnson. A lot of those guys could jump out the gym. I done seen a guy like Zion Williamson before. But guess what? He can't keep that weight off. And more money, more problems. So y'all gotta think about it. These fighters are making more money than the fighters before them. So they're gonna have more problems and more issues, more vices, more women, more issues, and harder to focus. People don't put that into play until a guy look bad in the ring. But this era, it's gonna be harder for a lot of these guys to focus. That's why I said you got to throw these guys in the ring with anybody frequently, like how Munguia was done. I'm telling you, if you do things the way that it was done with Munguia, it's gonna be a lot more losses in boxing because you're gonna be frequently having guys needing to be in tip-top shape 24/7. They gotta be prepared year-round. You can't take any days off. You can't, and that'll cut into a lot of that. Because people say, "Oh, I don't like guys being weight bullies." The way you can cut away the weight bully stuff that people complain about, have guys fight every 3 to 4 months. If you got a guy fighting twice a year, every 6 months or every 9 months, of course he a weight bully. You can't sit on the couch for 9 months and keep your weight down. Of course he's a weight bully. That's why when people say, "Oh man, well, you have guys fight every 3 months, and that'll cut away all that weight bullying stuff, guys dropping weight." If you look at any guy who's had issues with weight, they're not fighting every 3 months. So that'll have everybody in the right weight class instead of people complaining about guys weighing too much on fight day. But they're not thinking about stuff like that. They're thinking about who ducking and yeah, I think certain fighters need certain trainers too. I don't think they get enough chances though, Native Wild Man, to figure out who they can really train with because Jarrell Miller looked good recently in this. I thought he looked good. That's the best I've seen him against Andrew Ruiz. I thought he looked good. That's the best I've seen him against Andrew Ruiz. Bam a good fighter though, man. He really is. I think he's into his own, really. Yeah, I definitely think Bam coming into his own, but they gotta watch out for a couple of things. He said, "Who was the best Sugar Ray Robinson, Leonard Mosley?" I like Leonard, but I think probably the best. I think Robinson. I think Mosley is probably most underrated. Probably. I think Mosley really underrated.